Now turning to some state races, it's still very early, but the state Democrats could take back the House tonight after an historic Republican takeover back in 2014. Republicans held a slim 37-33 advantage. Here's a look at the number of seats the Dems have so far tonight. 26 seats to the GOP's 15.
And in the state Senate, there just is not a chance. It does not look like right now for the Republicans to overtake it so far. This is the Senate seats won so far. The Democrats with 18, the GOP with just 9. And of course, right now, the fight over the House is the main concern for the Democrats. Let's get to News 13's Alex Goldsmith, who is live at the Hotel on Toulouse downtown, where state Democrats are watching those numbers and those races very closely. Alex?
Well, Dean, you mentioned the State House, the big concern for Democrats, and it does look good, certainly in many parts of the state for them. However, in the state Senate, there was a big ticket race, the big race tonight. That's Senator Michael Sanchez, the Senate Majority Leader, and at least the early returns showed him behind in that race. And if that seat falls, that is certainly a blow for Democrats, although they do still look like they will maintain control of the state Senate overall. I talked to Senator Daniel Ivey Soto, who's running in one of the battleground districts. He said that is key to try and balance Governor Susana Martinez.
I think it's very important for the state that there be some kind of check and balance on the governor and on what's been going on in the House of Representatives, so that it doesn't all just simply shift one way or the other.
Now, we've been talking about the state House as well, and that was a historic win for Republicans when they took back the House for the first time in 60 years. Democrats, however, at least in the early going, look like they will pick up enough seats to take control of the chamber. Back out here live, of course, a lot of people glued to those races, but the big presidential race as well, taking up a lot of attention right now. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Let's take a look at some of these House races in New Mexico. This is District 15. The Republican incumbent Sarah Maestas-Barn winning easily over the Democratic challenger Ane Romero. This is she defeated the Democrat incumbent 2 years ago. Sarah Maestas-Barn did, Barnes did. So it looks like she will have another term, doing very well right now. Also, District 23. This is Paul Pacheco, the Republican incumbent. This was actually something of a surprise. He's being challenged by Democrat Damon Eli, who is ahead by a couple of points right now. This is a very close race, an important seat that both sides were looking to keep on their side or to get on their side. We'll keep an eye on this one for you. District 24, this is the seat that the incumbent Conrad James chose not to run again, so it was an open seat. And right now the Democrat Elizabeth Thomson with a solid lead right now over Republican challenger Christina Hall. Looking at District 27, Larry Larrañaga, the incumbent and Republican, with an easy win tonight over Ronald Krice. It looks like a commanding lead right now. District 30, this is the incumbent and Republican Nate Gentry with a powerful challenge from Natalie Figueroa, but it looks like Gentry has a comfortable lead right now with a little more than 10,000 votes counted. We'll keep an eye on that one as well to see if it tightens up, but right now, Gentry in a fairly comfortable position. Now, this is one of the biggest stories of the night for the New Mexico Senate, District 29, and Michael Sanchez.
Now, let's see. You can see the Republicans really went after him, a super PAC led by the governor. Sowed a lot of attack ads. They were really ugly, as you might remember them. But again, it did seem to work. Michael Sanchez going down tonight. He tonight congratulates his opponent, offers support in any way he can. He says, I want to congratulate him on his victory. And again, Michael Sanchez, the Democratic state leader, he will be losing his seat. Now, Senate Republicans have been trying to take him down. Democratic leader Michael Sanchez, a pro-Republican super PAC led by the governor, aired attack ads to get their point across.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, but your son was shot.
The spot against the Senate Majority Floor Leader shows the mothers of Jaden Chavez Silver and Lily Garcia accusing Sanchez of cradling criminals. The ad makers say the goal was to make people vote against current leaders by blaming them for the murders of New Mexico children. Sanchez wasn't the only target against ads against House Republican. Sarah Maestas-Barn were also released after a report stated she violated campaign finance laws. She was later cleared, but it looks like she will keep her seat. Republican state lawmakers are also watching the numbers closely, not only for the House, but hoping they could take the Senate as well. Let's get to Lizzie Mitri, who's live at the convention center where the Republicans are holding their party tonight.
Jessica, it's very high energy here. People are dancing and cheering as they watch this news coverage very closely. People are very excited. In the state Senate, Republicans have not had the majority since the 80s, but the bright spot, as you mentioned tonight for the GOP, is the race in Senate District 29. Republican Greg Baca of Belen up against the incumbent Michael Sanchez, who has been the target of those controversial ads accusing him of cradling criminals. Baca, on the other hand, has been saying he is tough on crime. He's been running ads saying that he supports the death penalty for child murderers and cop killers. So again, people here are very excited and hopeful as these results keep coming in tonight. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Lizzie. Now here's a look at other key state Senate races. In District 9, which covers Rio Rancho, it looks like John Sapien may be able to keep a seat. It's a close one, but he's up by 3 points over Diego Espinoza, the Republican there. Sapien, an insurance salesman, has won in 2010 and 2014, but by very close margins. He campaigned this time by linking his opponent, Espinoza, a program director for CSI Aviation, to Trump. An open seat in District 10, it covers Northwest Albuquerque and the North Valley. And it looks like Candace Gould is in the lead here over David Simon. Now, she is an advocate for foster care children. David Simon, the executive director of the Jewish Community Center. Republicans usually have an easy time winning this district, but this year it's tricky because of the presidential race and high Democratic turnout. So what does this all mean in the state and how in the state House and the Senate races? And
the overall balance of power. KRQE political analyst Dick Niffing is standing by in the Newsplex with UNM political science professor Gabe Sanchez. Guys?
Well, from what we're seeing, it appears that what it means is the governor has won a Pyrrhic victory with Michael Sanchez.
That's right.
She's defeated him. She and Jay McCleskey went after him, much like they went after Tim Jennings and Roswell 4 years ago. They got him. They got him. He's gone. He's out. But it looks like the Republicans could lose as many as 9, maybe 7 seats in the House, which would clearly give the Democrats an edge. And they may drop a couple of seats in the Senate where they're already down 6.
That's right. So in the big scheme of things, the balance of power, I think the Democrats come out on top. But Governor Martinez has got to be happy. She put a lot of resources behind this. McCleskey put a lot of resources behind this. Sanchez has been the thorn on the governor's side, and she got rid of him.
Well, so what does that get her, though?
Well, the word on the street is already that, who's going to take over. Senator Worth has been who I've been hearing might take over. Yeah. End of the day, whoever takes over is probably going to be more liberal than Sanchez was. So you wonder, what exactly does it get?
How is she going to be able to work with that? And then she's got a Democratic House, too, most likely. It's not done yet, but all the indicators are that the Democrats are going to pick up seats in the House and in the Senate and get control of the state House again. Michael Sanchez is gone, though.
Let's look for a lot of vetoes from the governor moving forward.
The Gary Johnson Act.
That's right.
Back to you.
All right, thank you. Maggie Toulouse Oliver will be the next Secretary of State. She easily beat Nora Espinoza, a state lawmaker from Roswell. Toulouse Oliver will finish out the last 2 years of Diana Duran's term after she was criminally convicted. And this was one of the more heated races this year. Both candidates rolled out their own attack ads on each other as they fought for this seat.